On the previous episode, we finished K1, and now we're going to start K2, and we're kind of a little bit against time because the weather is still decent, and I'll be able to keep the barn at least warm enough to let the glue dry, but we still need to move pretty quick. If you don't want to watch the decking again, then just skip over these next, probably, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 episodes on the decking of the second kayak. But we are going to deploy a whole bunch of different methods on how to clamp this and keep away from any of the staples. But we've learned a lot on the first one. The second one should be a lot cleaner and should be a lot faster and easier to build. The one thing we're going to have to do with this hull, look how it's twisted at the end. We're definitely going to have to make sure that it is level. And we get in here and trim this up. Seems to be sitting in the cradle pretty well. Okay, this is where it goes wrong. It's just really bad here. So what we're going to have to do is do some trimming. I actually think we did this on the other one. I'm almost pretty sure of it. So, if you can kind of look down through there, it does look a little crooked. But what we'll end up doing is I'll find out what each one of these heights are. And then we'll end up scribing a height, and then we'll probably jigsaw it down or belt sand it down, because that should be able to take it down pretty quick. And that's also going to then give that area a better look. The other thing that I'll do is it will be interesting with this one. I'm going to actually make sure that the molds in here are correct. Remember the other one we switched the molds all around? So we'll make sure the molds are correct. And I'm real interested to find out where this comes in at. This bulkhead. But those will come up. So I have taken and I've done a little work on the sides here, because the sides were not level across. So I made sure the boat was level in the center, and then I took a micrometer and I took a look at the level, and then I took a look at that level across there, and I just transferred that over here. And then the same with this side as well. I did that same thing because this was pretty bad here. It was up pretty high. So now the second boat is pretty straight. Looking for some good things out of it. I have just positioned these molds in, and we're going to do something a little different this time. I'm actually going to follow the directions and get these all in where they should be. Novel idea. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just take and get all of these set. So a excellent day. I was able to come in here and set all the forms. I trimmed the sides, and here's a little thing that I ended up doing. So there was a couple of these that were not on 12-inch, but then I started thinking they really need to be. And the only thing that I could do is, I think this one here, I may want to move it forward. I just went through and I started really sanding these down to make these fit at their 12-inch area. So they are in solid. The other thing that I did was see how these, I took little, just like cutoffs, and I've been saving them, and I used those to kind of make this form a little bit better. Now there's some things I'm gonna have to sand down a little bit. And I was thinking, like I said earlier, maybe putting a little block here. Not quite sure yet, but the thing that I'm just really happy with is how straight this thing looks. So much better than the other one. And then if I put this on, kind of in its proper spot. It's going to be right where it needs to be. We'll get in here and kind of move it around and get it so that it's centered. But huge difference than the other ones. I'm bleeding here. But really looking good. I'm really happy with this. Learned a lot. This one here is going to be better. I've got these forms in here really solid. They are just, they're going to hold for what I need them to be held with. But we're looking good. So I didn't actually show the very first part of this build because we're on our second kayak. And it's basically going to be the same as the first kayak, although the color scheme is going to be a little different. And also, I'm a heck of a lot more knowledgeable about what goes into this particular build. So I've gone ahead and I've put together my first two strips. Now, if you recall, the other boat actually had oak. This is Alaskan white cedar. I think I'm going to do white cedar, then I'm going to go with a red cedar, a couple more white, and kind of build that up. The other part about this build is everything is a lot more true. I've really got my forms set to where they should be. This has been measured, and so I've got the same distance here on this side as the other. If you remember on the other kayak build, we actually had a difference, so one side was a little more heavier than the other. The other part is that here in the front, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to run these all the way down and then trim this way. Before, I actually took the very center line and I moved that down and then worked off the sides on that. So it's the only difference here. But we're just going to go ahead and take off all of the clamps on this side and prepare ourselves for the other side. So now that I have all of those off, I'm going to come in here and take off our little pieces that we actually built in there so that it would kind of stabilize it, and that so I didn't have to then take in and put staples in this area. I did have to put some staples up here, and it's very possible we'll have to see how that kind of works and how that measures down in here. But I'm just going to go ahead and pull those off. So I actually don't know what the issue was, but I mean, this is all softer wood and it's no different than what we've been dealing with. But those staples that were in there were just extremely difficult to get out. Now, I know that I left them in there for a longer period of time, so they may have been in there, as I'm taking off this tape, they may have been in there for, I guess, a week, because I put them in last Saturday, Sunday, but they were just horrible to get out. So I'm not quite sure. I think what I'm going to do is, instead of using the long ones, which I use those long ones at the very first row, and actually these first two rows, just because it really needed to adhere to that spot. So as we go up higher, I think I'm just going to use my other staple gun, and then that'll allow me to be a little, it won't be as evasive. It won't go into this, because I mean, look at this. This was just trying to get the staples out, and I know that these are going to be hard. So I don't know whether it just dried and I need to find a way to get that taken care of, or you know, not enough moisture in here. It is cold. I mean, it's about 60 today, but I don't know if that had something to do with it. But I'm going to go ahead and start on the other side and see what we can come of that. So I just finished up with one strip on this side, and as you can kind of tell, I had to staple everything down, but got good clean lines, and I'll end up just putting the second one in, and I really did some measuring down here on this end, so we should be really good to have this match in here, because if you recall in the last one, I'll end up putting a strip down the center, and actually what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do a very thin line of walnut right in the center, and then 2 pieces of this white Alaskan on each side. I think that'll be really, really nice. It is taking and looking at some skills that I've not really worked with yet. But it is actually a really beautiful day, beautiful fall day. I mean, it's like December 11th, and it's like 60 outside, so I'll take it when I can get it. I'm going to put this other one on, and we may get out our table saw to rip that center line for us.
for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and turn on those post notifications to receive all the notices of all the upcoming episodes. Thanks for watching.